Hey everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video I have a mini Born Pretty haul. I was kindly sent these items to review, so I thought I would show you them and do a little winter design using a couple of these. So first up here I have the Nicole Diary 197 plate, and this is a gorgeous Christmas plate. I love it because it's got quite a few different Christmassy things on there. So we've got some Santas, a reindeer, some snowmen, lots of little Christmassy decorations. So it's a great all-round plate. And then we have the Nicole Diary L30 plate. So this is one of their larger plates, and I don't use this one in this video, to be honest, because I went for a more winter Christmassy design and I didn't feel as though there was anything I could use from this plate to tie in. But I will do another video and I'm thinking like a winter floral design using that one. And then the other two items I have here are the Born Pretty watercolor pens. So these are a bit like art inks, but in a pen form. And I've got a blue, and I did think it was a white one, but it's actually a clear. So I'm going to attempt to use these in the video, so you shall see further along. As you can see, I'm working on my Glamerliz Elsa hand. I have already slid in some tips and applied the Kiki London base coat, so we're ready to jump straight in with our colours. Now this gorgeous colour is from the new Kiki London Winter 2020 collection, and it is called Stone Blue, and it is an absolutely gorgeous blue colour. It's got a lovely grey undertone to it, and yeah, it's a definite must have for winter. So I'm going to pop that down on the pointer and the little finger. The middle and the ring finger I'm using Kiki London French White because I just wanted them to have a white base for the blue marble ink. I'm keeping my first layer of colour nice and thin, just wriggling it up at that cuticle area, getting a nice neat cuticle line and then pulling that colour down towards the tip. It doesn't matter if it looks slightly sheer or patchy because we get full coverage with the second coat. So once I have applied that first coat, I'm going to pop these in my Kiki London LED lamp to cure for a full 30 seconds. And then once they have finished curing, I'm going to come in and apply the second coat. I apply the second coat exactly the same as the first coat. If I was doing it on myself though, this is where I would normally cap the free edge. So just while you're watching this bit, I just want to take a moment to say a huge thank you to all of you who left such lovely comments on my previous video. I did mention in that video that I'd been off YouTube for a little while as my dad had passed away at the end of November, and I said how hard it's been, and you all left me so many lovely comments, and it was really kind, and it really touched my heart because it's been a really tough time, and one of the things that have got me through it is the kindness that I've had from my family and of course my friends, but as well all of the lovely comments I've received off of my followers and subscribers on Instagram and YouTube. Just some of you sharing your stories of your own losses and just sending your condolences. It's just really kind of you, and I can't put it into words how much it meant to me. So thank you all so much. So moving on with the design, now that all of those nails have cured, I'm coming in on the two white nails with the Kiki London No Wipe matte top coat, and I'm just going to apply a thin even layer of this and then pop it in to cure for 60 seconds. Whenever I've done anything ink wise in the past, I have always found that it works a lot better over a matte surface, so that's just why I'm coming in and doing the matte top coat. Now that's cured, I'm going to come in and use the ink pens. Now I received a blue, and at first I thought the other colour was a white from looking at the sticker, but it's actually a clear, so I presume that this is what you use to blend out the colour. However, I kind of sort of switched between using that as well as the alcohol. Now this didn't go totally to plan. This was my very first time trying it, and I wanted to just share my first impressions. It's definitely something, or the pens are definitely something that I want to play around with a little bit more. So all I've done is drew on some lines. I kind of worked with them the same way I would work when I do this sort of design with Sharpies. But I haven't really used any other art inks, and these aren't very fluid, if that makes sense. The colour sort of stays where you've put it, so you do need to do a little bit of your work to get it to blend out using either the clear or some alcohol on a nail art brush like I'm doing here. So I think they'll be really good actually for drawing more Pacific designs. Like I've seen flowers done with art inks and things like that. So I think they could be good for doing that because they don't run very quickly. However, I was just going for like a watercolor marble effect, and I did have to play around quite a lot to get that color to bleed. Again, maybe this was because I was working on top of a matte top coat, because that's what I'm used to. It might be a bit different on top of a glossy. So I am definitely going to play around. This was more just a quick first attempt at them. But you can see I'm cleaning up a little bit more with the clear. You just twist them to release more ink. And even though I'd got the blue ink on the clear bristles, it rubbed off really easy on a piece of paper towel. So all I'm basically doing is drawing on some lines and then blending it out to get that marble effect. Not very adventurous, to be honest, but I thought for a first go trying them, I would try something easy. I have seen on the Born Pretty, I think it was on the Facebook group, or it might have been on their Instagram, I did see some beautiful designs done with the art ink pens. So they're definitely something I plan on using a little bit more. And the colour does dry quite quickly, so you're able to layer it up, which is really fab, I felt, because when I've used other art style inks or things like Sharpies in the past, they take a little while to dry, so you have to kind of go work on another nail and then go backwards and forwards. But these dried really quickly, so it meant you could come in with more colour and layer it up so you could create more depth and dimension in certain areas of the nail. So once I had finished faffing around with this one, I'm going to move on and do pretty much exactly the same on the ring finger. So I've sped this up just a little bit more, just so it ain't too repetitive. But I used a little bit more of the alcohol here on my nail art brush to blend the colour out, just because I kind of liked how that looked more. And then I found it a lot easier to come in over the top with the pen because the alcohol was already there. It blended it out a lot quicker. And I did just come backwards and forwards and played around with it, adding more ink here and there until I was happy with how it looked. Now, this is a really simple design, to be honest. I just wanted to have a play around with the items and share them with you guys. So it's nothing too exciting, but I hope you all enjoy watching. I'll just let you finish up watching this bit and I shall pop back in a moment when we move on to some stamping. Now I am going to be stamping on all 4 of these nails because I really wanted to use as many images as I could, because I knew as soon as I opened this plate that I would love it. It's got such a versatile range of Christmas images. So if you was only able to purchase one Christmas plate, I would highly recommend this one because you'll be able to create so many different designs from it and get a lot of use out of it. So to begin with, I have wiped off the tacky layer from my gel polish using some alcohol, and then I've made sure that I've got all of my stamping essentials to hand. Having everything close by means you're able to work quicker, and with stamping you do need to work as quick as you can. Then I've applied my stamping polish, scraped, picked up my image. I was just pulling off the excess there, and then I'm able to stamp that image straight down onto the nail. I will talk you through it a little bit better in one of the other designs. Now, the gold polish I'm using is also from Born Pretty. It's one I purchased myself, so I'm not 100% sure of the name of it, but I'll find out and leave it linked in the description box below because it is a fab true gold. And then I'm also using a black and white stamping polish, which is from Nicole Diary, so also available at Born Pretty as well. I do have a discount code for Born Pretty, which I think I left on screen at the start, but I will also pop it in the description box below in case you guys want to check it out. So I've placed down my Christmas tree, and then I've slightly overlapped my reindeer, and up in the corner I'm going to add on some snowflakes just because I wanted to create a nice wintry scene. So you'll see I cleaned off my stamper with some acetone, and a lint-free pad. I wipe quite a fair amount of stamping polish over. You want to make sure that you've got a nice amount on your plate so that it really gets into the image and you're able to scrape off the excess and leave enough there for you to pick up the image nice and clearly. And then I just roll my stamper quite quickly over the image, but when it comes to placing it, I just press it straight down. So I do exactly the same all the time when I'm stamping, so you'll see it's place a generous amount, scrape, roll the stamper, and then press straight down. Some stampers work differently. You do sometimes find that some stampers you need to roll the design on. Some have slightly firmer, squishy heads, so you need to be a little bit firmer with when you're pressing the stamper down. But with the particular jelly ones that I use, I always find it works best to just gently press straight down. If you press too hard, sometimes you can find the image, like if you're doing straight lines, look wavy. So just when it comes to stamping, I think I say in all of my videos, you just sit down and have a play around, not when you're with a client, just have a little practice so you can find what works best for you and the stamping products that you're using. So now that I've finished the stamping on those two nails, I'm going to move on to the middle two. Now I did have another little play around with the inks, so they might look slightly different. I still wasn't 100% happy with them, but before stamping over the top of them, I'm just going to come in with a no wipe top coat just to protect that ink from my stamping. So if I make any mistakes with my stamping, I'm able to wipe it off without wiping off the inks. So just placing that down, curing in my lamp for 60 seconds, and then I'm going to use these two simple Christmas decoration images. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, but all of the stamping polishes I'm using are also available at Born Pretty as well. The black and the white are Nicole Diary ones, and the gold is a Born Pretty one. I find that they all work absolutely perfectly, to be honest. They work very similar. I always make sure that my stamping plate is cleaned in between doing images, so even if it's on an area where I haven't worked, I will still wipe over it with acetone just to make sure that it's fully clean, because if you have any old stamping polish left on your plate, it will affect the design. So I always give it a quick rub with some acetone. And I was really pleased with how these images from this stamping plate worked together. So after applying the black decorations, I decided I would come in and use the snowflake. So I used a different snowflake to the previous nail. And I'm just going to pick up them with some of the gold stamping polish and just add one onto each nail. I really wanted to get as much stamping in this set as I could because I absolutely loved this plate. And it's definitely a plate that I'm going to be using in a couple more of my videos coming up. I don't have many Christmas plates, but this one, like I said, it has enough images on there for you to just have one Christmas plate. So this was the finished design. I wasn't 100% happy with the marbles, but I felt as though they looked quite nice as a background for the stamping. So now that all the artwork is finished, I'm going to come in with my Kiki London top coat. This is their classic top coat. So this is the one that requires you to wipe off the tacky layer. However, I find out of every top coat I own, this one works the best over stamping. So I have quite a few different brands of top coats and I love them all, but this particular one, I just find I don't get no pitting when I use it over stamping. A lot of top coats kind of can separate over stamping, but with this particular one from Kiki London, I don't find I get any of that. It applies over the stamping really, really nicely. And then you just pop it into cure and wipe off the tacky layer, and this is the finished result. So I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you did, then please give the video a thumbs up or let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I shall hopefully see you all soon in the next video. Lots of love, take care, bye bye.